Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Barber. Join me as we go inside with Mike Barber Ministries.
God gave us the moral laws. This remind me that we should see
Jesus sacrificed. Jesus forgives. He forgets as though it never happened.
Thanks for joining us today. We're about to go inside the prison together. You're going to hear a message, some testimonies, and some worship go on. Man, just something about going inside the prison is amazing. Jesus said, when you go into prison, you have visited me. And we love to share this, a couple of things. One, that even though the world has tagged them with the number, God still knows their name. And we go with one message, is that even though you might be in prison, prison doesn't have to be inside of you. And maybe you're sitting here watching today. We have many around the nation and the world watching this program from inside prison, but maybe you're sitting in your home, you're sitting at work. You know, there's many people behind those invisible bars. And I want to encourage you to lean in. Even though we're inside the prison, I believe the messages today, I believe the testimonies can impact your heart and those around you. So hey, invite a friend, let's watch today's message, and let's go inside together.
Just because I'm locked up doesn't mean I'm not free. I am a chaplain helper. I do a lot of work for the church. I'm in church every Sunday. So guys, he's really done a lot in my life since I've been here.
Being all in for Christ, that's freedom, because I've never felt so free as I do today, and I'm behind bars, okay? Have found my worth in Jesus, the worth that I lost or gave away, or however it came about, the self-worth that went away at a young age and the hope that went away is back in me because I have hope in my Savior, and it makes every difference. So my circumstances haven't changed necessarily, except I'm clean and sober, and I intend to be, praise God. The circumstances are bad, I'm in prison, but I've never been so free and happy. It doesn't matter that I'm locked up, I'm free on the inside.
I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in your holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessing. No. Jesus, you don't owe me anything. More than anything that you can do. I just want you. And I'm sorry when I just saw through the ocean. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. And I'm sorry when I come with my agenda. I'm sorry when I forgot the only love. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. Come on, sing it. I'm caught up in your presence. Oh, nothing
How many thankful for what Jesus did for you and me? Come on, are you with me in the house? And when I think about that, I want to preach from this topic, nothing else. Somebody say nothing else. Because when it gets down to it, I want to set the tone this whole weekend that you got to understand that there's nothing else I desire more than a relationship with my best friend, Jesus. There's nothing greater. I don't know anybody that can relate to everything that I've gone through, been through what I've been through, can give me direction to what I'm about to face, have the strength when I don't have the strength. I don't know anybody greater or stronger than Jesus. And when I realize that I relate to him, I can follow his leadership and I can trust how he points my life. How many believe you can trust in the Lord? Come on, are you with me? But let's get real for a moment. How many have questioned God before? Come on. How many have been mad at God before? Come on, are we right? It's just real talk. And so, how do we understand this man named Jesus? Why do we celebrate this guy who died over 2,000 years ago once a year? Why do we celebrate death? It doesn't make sense. People get kind of funny when it comes to death, right? And talking about that. People ask me, don't you know when you're going to die, Brandon? I'm like, no, I don't know when I want to die. I want to know where I'm going to die. Why do you want to know where? Go on, make sure I don't go there. Come on, am I right? I think that is wisdom. I ain't going to go there, then the win ain't going to happen. Can I get an amen? All right, it's why do we celebrate this thing? Because I believe when you understand Jesus, then you'll receive his direction in your life. Why do you believe in this spiritual being that you don't see? Why do you believe sometimes, maybe you've heard the Lord described or the Holy Spirit described as you can't see him, but it's like the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it. Anybody feel that wind right now? All you got to do is step outside to feel the wind. Sometimes all you got to do is just step underneath the tent, step into the presence of God. You don't have to see it. You'll feel it, and you'll know that it's real. But how can I follow this man named Jesus? Why can I give my life to him? Because I think that you must understand what I think needs to be preached about maybe a little bit more that you don't hear preached about a whole lot, and I want to kind of tag team it a little bit, is preaching about the human side of Jesus. Because he was a human for 33 years. And he had a human nature about him. And when you understand the human nature of Jesus and what he went through, you will realize that, man, this dude does know me. You trust somebody when they came from the same street as you. When they grew up in the same neighborhood as you, you're you get me. I trust you. Am I right? When you know somebody's been down the same street as you, when you know that somebody's been with you, all of a sudden you can trust the voice in their life. So when you understand the human side of Jesus, then you can understand the spiritual side of why I call him my Savior, why I call him my Lord. And so my heart tonight is I want to preach to you about who is this human side of Jesus. Then I'm going to preach to you the spiritual side of who he is. Are you with me? So to understand, somebody shout, Jesus, all right? Because there's nothing else I want more than a relationship with him. So the human side of Jesus, there's this thing called spiritual, just to give you a little history and a little Bible study, there's this thing called spiritual identification. In fact, politicians have picked up on this and they used it for campaign strategies. Or, for example, here's what they'll do. It's called spiritual identification. In other words, they try to lure you in to believe that they've been where you've been and they've done what you've done. And here's what happens is the politician will jump in his limousine. He'll roll up to the banker in his three-piece suit. He'll walk into the banker and talk to the head of the bank and say, "Hi, how you doing? My name is so-and-so. Hey, my uncle was a banker, so therefore I know what you're going through. I know where you've been, and I know what you're doing." No, you don't. Am I right? Then he'll jump back in the limousine. He'll roll down to the factory. He'll take his jacket off, put on a work jacket, put on a work hat, go to the head of the work factory and said, "Hey, my cousin's nephew's son was a worker in the factory. Therefore, I know what you're going through. I feel your pain. I am with you. Vote for me." No. Then he'll jump back in the limousine and go 30 miles down the road. And he'll go to the local farmer. And he'll take off his suit and put on some overalls. And he'll walk out to the farmer and says, "Hey, my cousin's, third cousin's, aunt's, nephew's, son's daughter was a farmer. Therefore, I know exactly what you're going through. And I feel your pain. I need you to trust me." No. It's a false illusion that they've been there and they've done that. They can connect with you and they are best suited to lead you. Can I tell you the reason why I love Jesus, the reason why he's the Lord of my life and he's the number one leader that I can follow is because he didn't put up a false spiritual identification. He didn't put up an illusion that, hey, I've been there. No, he was here. He's been through everything that I've been through. He's gone through everything that I faced. And guess what? The devil tried to take him out, and he made a mistake. If he made it, guess what? I can make it too, and you can make it. Somebody give Jesus a good shout. Somebody shout, "I can make it." Jesus, the human. He didn't put up a false perspective. He lived it to let me know that if he did it, I can do it too. Look what it says in Scripture. I'm going to hurry here. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14 says this. It says, because God's children, is that us? Yes. God's children are human beings made of flesh and blood. The Son, Jesus, also became flesh and blood. For only as a human being could he die. And only by dying could he break the power of the devil, who had the power of death. The only way Jesus, the reason why we celebrate an Easter Sunday, the reason why we celebrate what he did for us, the only reason why we celebrate it, the only reason he could defeat death, hell, and the grave was he had to become human. And that gave him the power to defeat him. Hebrews 4, 14 and 16. I'm kind of set this up. We'll break it down, right? So then, since we have a great high priest, talking about Jesus, right? When Jesus died on the cross, he first went where? If you know the Bible, he first went to hell. Took the keys, defeated death, hell, and the grave, right? Rose from the dead, and then he went to heaven. And he's considered a high priest. Are you with me, all right? So Jesus, he went and he entered heaven, the high priest, Jesus, the Son of God. Let us hold firmly to what we believe. Verse 15. This high priest, talking about Jesus, check this out. This high priest of ours, he understands our weaknesses, for he has faced all the same. Not a few. I faced it when some of those streets I went down, some of those things, but no, it said, what? All of the same testings, and it says that we do, yet he did not sin. That's a leader I can follow. Verse 16, listen, hold on. So here's the response. So let us come boldly to the throne, the cross of our gracious God. There, somebody shout there. Somebody shout here. We will receive his mercy and we will find his grace to help us when we need it the most. Come on. How many are thankful that he's got way more grace than we got problems? Come on, somebody.
When you were messed up, tore up from the floor up, from the penthouse to the outhouse, he was still there.
Hey family, I hope you're enjoying today's program. We want to take a quick second to invite you to be a part of the team. You know, we cannot do this without you. We cannot go to the prisons without you. There's 3 ways you can be a part of the team. Number 1 is pray. We need your prayer. Every time we go inside of the prison system, we're believing that God is going to touch the hearts of men and women and youth. Will you commit to pray for us weekly? Maybe some of you can pray for us daily. Second thing is this, come with us. If you've never been on a missions trip to prison, I promise you, it is something that will change your life. We have different weekends throughout the year spread around the state and around the nation where you can be a part. Come and be a part of the mission with us. And the third thing is give. Man, we need your generosity. We cannot go into the prisons without it. You can try to pass an offering plate in prison around, but you ain't gonna get much in return. Will you pray about being a financial partner with us, no matter what it is? Maybe it's $5 a month, maybe it's $1,000 a month. Some of you can do more or somewhere in between. We need to go reach more people. The prison population is the fastest growing mission field in the world. There's more work to do, and we want to go and we want to do it together with you. So will you join the team today? Find out more information at mikebarber.org. And hey, let's go back in prison together.
Over 90% of you said you've been in church before, but the moment you left, he was still there. When you left the church to the streets, guess what? He left with you. He's been with you all this time. But the beauty of this story, do you see it? He said that he had to become human. The only way he could defeat death, hell, and the grave, because you know you got a hit on your life, right? I mean, you got a hit on your life. And his name is the devil. He came to steal, kill, and destroy. The fact that you are alive and in prison, I know this is the last place you wanted to be. I get that. But stop blaming God where you are. Maybe God loved you so much that he allowed you to get to a place like this to say, hey, I love you, to give you a second chance and to give you a hope. So stop blaming God. Maybe he saved you because all it would take is one more phone call, one more text message, you turn the wrong corner, you drink one more drink, and you're dead and you gone. But he loved you so much to send you to this place called Woodman Prison underneath the 2-pole tent to remind you that he still loves you. He's been there and he's got you. He didn't come to make bad things good. He came to make dead things alive. Whatever feels dead in your life, you've lost relationship, you've lost family, you're facing whatever it is, he didn't come just to make it better. He defeated the cross. He defeated death and hell and the grave. He defeated it to make whatever feels dead in your life come to life again. Are you with me? But the only reason he can love me in the midst of my mistakes, the only reason he can love you in the midst of your mistakes is because there's a throne called grace. But listen. I want you got to get this. The only reason why it's a throne of grace is because Jesus, the human, who was in heaven, came to earth, died on the cross, and that human went to the throne of grace. The only reason why it's a throne of grace is because he was human. Think about it. The only reason why he knows he can forgive you is because when you go through it, he's like, yeah, I've been there. I know what you're feeling. I got grace for you because I've been there. But the good news is I defeated it. I got through it, and I'm going to help you. You ain't in this thing alone. You're going to get through it too. Somebody shout, me too. So you got to understand, Jesus understands. Whatever it is, this helped me believe in Jesus. This is Jesus 101, Genesis 0:0. Basic, but the reason why I love Jesus is because I realize he understands me. You got to get it. He understands you. A few thoughts. Jesus understands relationships and he understands family. He gets it. Here in Mark chapter 6, it talks about how it says, is this not the carpenter's son, the son of Mary? And it mentions all his brothers and sisters. Jesus came from a big family, yo. He came from a big family. He understands what it's like to have a sister that annoys him and a brother that annoys him. Come on, are you with me? Like, people think, oh, that was the family of Jesus. They were just so perfect. They finish each other's sentences. This is Jesus. Jesus, no. There was a human side of Jesus. Come on. Like, it wasn't Imagine being the brothers of Jesus and your mom coming up to you every day saying, come on, John, how come you can't be more like Jesus? That drive me crazy. I totally see Jesus at the community pool, walking up to the edge of the water, taking 2 steps and be like, come on, John, you got this. Takes, got him. Am I right? Like, I see it happening. There's a human side of Jesus. In Mark chapter 3, it says that Jesus' mom and brothers came knocking on the door. They came and told Jesus, hey, there's somebody here saying that your mom and your brothers. And Jesus said, that ain't my mama. That ain't my brothers. Jesus understands what it's like to have family that's crazy. Come on, somebody. Come on, anybody got some crazy family? Come on. Are you with me? You got a crazy Uncle Eddie. You got somebody that's a little out there. He gets family dynamics. He understands relationships. Hear me. He understands what it's like to be single. He understands what it's like to be married. You'd be like, how's that? He didn't get married. Well, the Bible calls us the bride of Christ. And hold on, listen. And will be reunited with him someday. So therefore, if he understands marriage, then he understands a broken marriage and he understands adultery. He understands what it's like to have children. Who are the children of God? We are the children of God. He understands what it's like to be a parent, which lets us know he understands what it's like to have a disobedient child. He understands our situation. He understands brokenness, broken relationships. He understands when family hurts you. His own family refused to let miracles happen in his hometown. He was in his hometown. Jesus tried to come and perform miracles and heal his family and touch their lives, but they kicked him out. They moved him back to the edge of a cliff, about to kill him. And the Bible says he went through like a ghost. He skipped through. It wasn't that he couldn't do the miracles. They just didn't believe that he was capable to do. He knows what it's like to have family that stabs you in the back. He understands relationships. He understands. He understands what it's like to struggle and wait and to trust God's timing. Come on, anybody needed God to move 6 months ago? Come on, anybody? Come on, how about 6 years ago? Come on, where you at? Just wave at a brother. He understands what it's like. Think about this. Jesus lived on this earth for 33 years, but he lived for 30 years for just a 3-year ministry. For 30 years, the struggle of waiting. God, are you going to come through? I think the human side of Jesus was struggling with waiting. And I believe this. I didn't understand this until I got an opportunity to go to Israel last year and travel there. But I went over there, and I went to the valley to where the last battle, the Battle of Armageddon is going to take place, where it talks about in Revelation. The last battle before Jesus comes back, the horn, the trumpet blows, and Jesus is coming back on earth. Until I was in that valley, was I able to look up, and I saw that the nearest town on the hill was the town of Bethlehem, the town that Jesus grew up in. I want you to hear me in this, though. Think about this. Every day for 30 years, you couldn't go anywhere in Bethlehem and not see the valley of the last battle, the Battle of Armageddon. Imagine for 30 years, every time you got out to take out the trash, you went to walk the dog, you went to pet the goats. Come on, right? Like, imagine like you went to go see your aunt, you went to your cousin's house, you went to the community pool. Think about it. For 30 years, every time Jesus stepped outside, he was looking at that valley, just saying, God, when are you going to let me go? Knowing that the whole reason he is here on earth is to get as many people to heaven as he can before that battle takes place. Think about that. You remember the moment where Mary and Joseph left Jesus at the temple. Come on, that makes me feel good, because as a parent, if they left Jesus, it's okay that I left my kids. Come on, anybody? Nobody wants to admit that in church? Okay, all right. I mean, I got 4. With 2, it's like playing man-to-man. With 3, we had to play zone. With 4, I lose a kid just about every day, okay? It's just about like that. But at 12 years old, remember he said, I'm about my Father's business. But listen. I think it was the human nature of Jesus wanting to jump the gun too quick. The human side of Jesus saying, man, I'm ready to move. God, I'm ready to go. Matt, listen. Imagine for 30 years all the people he could have raised from the dead. All the people he could have healed, the things he could have done. But he trusted God's timing more than his timing. Listen, hold on. I want you to listen, because I got to move quick with my time. But it's amazing. If you think about this, you relate to this story more than you realize. Because how many of us give up on God because God didn't work on our timeline on the outside instead of trusting his timeline? God, you need to move in this relationship. And until you move, I ain't going to come back to you. I ain't going to go back to church until I see this get better. I ain't going to do this and do that. Are you with me? Stop putting a timetable on God, because he's never put a timetable on you. Come on, are you with me?
God is so much bigger than I ever knew, and forgiveness is a great thing, and he knew your sins before he created you. He knew every mistake that you'd ever make, and he chose to die on the cross and create you anyway. Be all in for Christ, because he went in all in for you, and you can do anything through Christ who strengthens you.
I really appreciate the Mike Barber Ministries. Everything they've said has really touched my heart. I've cried a lot yesterday in their service, but I've really enjoyed it, and it's really the great thing that they are doing for us, because we really enjoy it. Even in the rain, we're really enjoying being out here.
I think it is so awesome that y'all do this, and that Mike Barber takes time to come into these prisons and preach to us, and just, his word is so inspirational to us, and it means a lot.
Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the program. You can find out more information at mikebarber.org, and make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel with more videos and content from our Weekends of Excitement. We love you, we are praying for you, and we'll see you next time.